Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dario here with another options and play video update. First off, I want to thank all of you that stuck around for yesterday's option session. It was on a Tuesday versus our normal Mondays because of the holiday this week. So if your schedule was thrown off a bit and weren't able to make it, definitely check that out. We talked about a lot of things, as usual. From weekly options and how to kind of go about finding setups for weeklies. But we also spent a lot of time just going over some like setups that were starting to really present themselves on um, a couple different stocks slash ETFs. And one of the ones we were talking about was SPY. Um, and what I wanted to do was just, do like or put together a little video just kind of like walking through um, the SPY setup, but also, how it kind of, the thought process between behind like how I go about, like setting up a trade, but also the time frame for a trade, right? So when it comes to the SPY, the Qs, even like the Russells, sometimes, I mean, a lot of my focus tends to be on the hedge side, right? Like I don't normally look at these on the bull side, and I don't really look at them as like trades on their own. They're mostly just like hedge vehicles to me. But there are some instances where they really set up as good as good trade opportunities, right? And one of the things we were talking about, and one of the things that really stood out to me on the SPY right now is this 100-day, right? So you can see when I circled it, right? So you had tick into the 100-day at the beginning of December. You had a tick into the 100-day. Sorry, my circle's a little off. You had a tick into the 100-day in the middle of December. You had a pretty close tick into the 100-day at the beginning of, or last week, actually. This is like last Monday. And now you can see very clearly we're right at the 100-day again, right? So this is now the fourth test of this really obviously increasingly important moving average. And what you'll notice is that every single time it hit it and bounced, it was what, a 15 to 20 point move in a matter of sessions, right? So from low 450s, low 470s, mid 450s, high 470s, right? 450s, 470s. So already, just over the last 2 months, there's been multiple instances where the SPY has hit the 100-day, held, and then had a 15 to 20 point move off of that level in a matter of days, right? So 3 days, 5 days, right? Very, very short, very fast, very aggressive move higher, right? So now that we're back into it, okay, if that pattern stands, why can't it repeat it, right? Why can't it do a 15 to 20 point rally in a matter of days? We've already seen it happen 3 separate times in the last month and a half, right? So if it holds and bounces, we've seen those really fast moves play out. I feel like it could be a 15 to 20 point move on the upside in a matter of days. On the flip side, if it breaks, well, right, you have a pretty open path down to the 200-day. There's not much in between here and the 200-day on the chart, right? Because we bottomed in October, put together a huge rally, and then since that rally, the 100-day has been like the real important support level. So if we lose that, the 200-day to me seems like an obvious target, and that's a good 15 to 16 points on the downside, right? So you have a setup where the SPY is essentially at a make or break level, right? The 100-day is make or break. If it holds and bounces, it could be a significant bounce. If it breaks and loses it, it could be a significant drop, right? Adding to this is the fact that next week is um, probably the busiest week of earnings for this quarter, and then B, next week is also the FOMC meeting, right? So the FOMC rate decision. So you have huge catalysts coming up, right? You got a make or break setup on the SPY, and there seems to be a path for a pretty significant move in a very short stretch. So to me, it just seemed like an interesting setup for a volatility strategy, right? Um, I don't mind going a little bit further out of the money because I'm expecting a pretty sizable move. But you determine what your contracts are, you determine what your risk is based off what you see, right? Like what you're comfortable with. And for me, like this is something that stood out as an interesting setup. And this was something we were walking through, like the thought process behind it. trade selection, right? And just like the idea that these indices, they can set up for trades on their own, right? Like, it doesn't always have to be a hedge, right? It doesn't always have to be just wait for a dip and go long. I mean, like, you can look at these as trades, but you just need to be patient and wait for the right setup. And to me, SPY seems to be right now in a pretty interesting setup. All right, so take a look. Let me know what you think, and we'll see how the next week and a half, 2 weeks play out. Okay. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading these volatility strategies, so like straddles and strangles, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options play. Have a fantastic night. Stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.